much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, it's done by American author
Stephen Jones, but very good. You have read it?
I have read it, and
and you are not convinced?
First, universal women rights.
Thank you very much.
Voting rights and some other things. And first social democratic government in Europe. Alex.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I met for, I don't know how much times, once more President Saakashvili, and I welcomed him here to the European Parliament. We had a very interesting exchange of views, taking into account the fact that yesterday the Prime Minister was here, and I met the Prime Minister. I underlined in the meeting with President Saakashvili what I said also to the Prime Minister yesterday. The European Union is looking with a lot of interest and partially worry to the development in the country. What the country needs is prudent and carefully transition period after the building of a new government. I discussed the same item yesterday with the new elected Prime Minister. And I think it is not the first country in which a cohabitation between a president and the prime minister from different political affiliations is necessary. There are very good examples that this is possible. France, for example, is a country which had successful and fruitful cohabitation. I think the respect of the rules of the Constitution is therefore the basis of, and a good basis. Constitution in Georgia foresees that the next presidential election will be in October 2013. Therefore, I think cohabitation should, from the new elected government between you and the Prime Minister, organized at least until the foreseen next presidential election. We are looking, as European Union, to Georgia as an important partner in the region. Georgia is a country with a high importance for the regional development, for regional stability. Therefore, a stable government and a stable cooperation between the President and the Prime Minister is from the highest importance, not only for the country itself. Via cooperation in the frame of such a cohabitation, stability in the country is from the highest importance for the region and therefore for the European Union as well. That's the reason why I made, on behalf of the European Parliament, the appeal yesterday to the Prime Minister, and I made the same appeal to the President of Georgia today. I hope that it is that my appeal is not. I hope that my appeal will be listened to and will be heard by both of the responsible personalities in the country. We are looking to all the measures taken by the government and by the President. And once more, we agreed, President Saakashvili and I, that we should stay in a very close contact. I must admit that for the second time, the President invited me to visit the country, and I answered for the second time that I'm very honored by the invitation. And if it is possible, I will visit the country, but I must admit I'm so overcharged for the time being that I could not give a date. But thank you very much once more, President, for your invitation.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm incredibly honored not to be received by you, and I'm very grateful that I was given twice chance to speak to the European Parliament. Very few world leaders had received such an honor, and I'm at second time it was under your leadership. And I have to tell you that, you know, of course, as never, we are attached to European institutions. We are here to advocate Georgia's further rapprochement with the European Union, getting European perspective for Georgia, progressing on visa liberalization. We already achieved visa facilitation. Now we need to get to visa liberalization. We already have moved towards very close to association agreement, that to deep, comprehensive free trade with the European Union. And Georgia has no alternative. It's not a matter of party choice. It's a matter of choice for the people and for long-term future of our country. And from that point of view, we strongly want and appealing to the present Georgian government to cooperate. We have lots of party differences inside the country. There are lots of things we might like or not like, but we cannot neglect and ignore the needs, long-term needs of our nation, cooperation, also in the European framework. And from that point of view, I think Prime Minister coming here and meeting with you had lots of informative value for him. We also shared all our experience with our new government, and we hope to, in the future, no matter what the difference might be, for the next year that is left, 1 year for me as the president, I would very much like to be involved in this kind of cooperation, facilitation, sharing experience, building on what has already been achieved and moving forward. Mr. Rompuy, President of the European Union, spoke about selective justice and instability of selective justice. I'm not here to repeat what they said, but that was a very clear message. And me as president, we hope that these things can go back to normal and we go back to the situation of rule of law. We handed power in very velvet way, very soft way. We wanted them to function normally. What we are seeing immediately after handover of power, and I didn't have to hand them over prosecutor's office, it was presidential prerogative. I didn't have to handle, I could have left lots of prerogatives with Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Defense. I gave it, most of it, to them. And we thought that we were giving it to act in a responsible manner. And as President of the Parliament said, there are constitutional rules. President has his own powers. They want parliamentary elections, and they have their own powers. They want parliamentary elections, and they form the government, but there is already existing self-government in Georgia, and there is a presidential institute that has 1 more year to go, and I'm more than willing to make life easy for them, provided that the legal framework is secure. Now, having said that, obviously, when such high-level institutions are talking about concern, that's of concern to me. I'm not happy to hear those concerns. I'm not here to complain. We are here to advance Georgia's integration into the European Union. Last thing I wanted to hear here when we wanted to come here and build on the momentum of elections and use it for further integration to NATO, use it for further integration to the European Union, and use it for positive means. That's the goal of our government. When we come here and with all this positive agenda, we already hear this kind of concerns, it hinders our agenda. It cannot make me happy. I cannot be happy as from the angle of European integration, and I hope that this is a temporary event. And in long run, I'm looking forward to, checking these accesses, changing these accesses, going back to normal, and delivering promises to the people. What was promised to people, and this is I don't think they were promised mass arrest. I think they were promised that there would be peaceful constitutional framework and delivery of basic services to people, delivering of election promises, delivering better life ultimately to every household in my multi-ethnic country. And that's hopefully government will go to that mindset and move forward rather than just being focused on the past. We need to move forward. We want to get beyond those differences and beyond election frictions. And we did our part very well. We gave no reason to be bitter or to be repressive or to look for retributions. And I'm going to continue the same way, and I hope that all the sides behave the same way as well.
In my country where I'm living, I'm representing the Federal Republic of Germany in the European Parliament. In my country, former ministers are not brought to prison in the past. Therefore, it is a surprise. And I asked my advisors to check the legal and political background of the action taken against former ministers, and I'm waiting for the report, and I will present my position after I got the necessary information. I took note that my colleagues, presidents of other institutions, expressed their view. I can understand such a reaction, but first of all, I want to be informed on a more concrete and on the more concrete level and on a deeper analysis of the cases before I express my view and I take action. Therefore, once more, it surprised me that former members of a government are now in the hands of the justice. But before I express my view, I want to know more.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.